credit to the Eagles. I mean, I know we've talked about this in years past, but for them to not only first moving on from Donovan McNabb a decade ago and Andy Reid, two guys who brought you to the Super Bowl consistently in the NFC title game. You move on from them, you bring in Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz. You're successful with them, you're consistent playoff teams. You move on from them, who won you a Super Bowl, have a statue outside of the building with them, and then to move on, get Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni, and have been as good as they've been the last few years, and making these aggressive moves, going after and getting AJ Brown, which that trade is now extremely lopsided.
Yeah.
Basically trading AJ Brown for Malik Willis and Traylon Burks. Woof.
Woof.
And then they make another trade with the Titans, which I think will be in the Eagles' favor. So not only are they the smartest front office, not only do they have one of the smartest head coaches, but they also have Jalen Hurts, who's a top 5 quarterback in this league.
Right.
They're reinventing the game with the push, where they're getting 3 or 4 yards of push, which is ridiculous. If they wanted to, they could make it every single play, and nobody can stop them. It's ridiculous. So definitely should not ban the shove. That would be ludicrous, because it's them who have a 94% success rate. The rest of the league have right around the mid 70s. So credit to the Eagles for constantly reinventing themselves, constantly making the right plays. I think that they're going to be a force in this NFC for a decade to come. The Niners and the Lions, I think, are going to be those consistent teams the next few years. So credit to the Eagles. Constantly, Howie Roseman being one of the best GMs, if not the best GM in the NFL. Credit to them there. Shutting down the Dolphins, high-powered offense, and just constantly reinventing themselves.
Yeah, are you concerned with the Dolphins not only not being able to beat a good team? We see the record, the stats going out there with all of the teams that they've beaten. I believe they were 5-28 coming into that week, where they beat like teams like the Panthers. It was teams like the Broncos, where they really didn't beat anyone very good, and they were kind of running over some bad teams. And then they met the Bills, kind of got stomped out in that game, and the Bills looked not very good this year. And then the Eagles dominate you defensively, where they hold your offense to 10 points, and if Jalen Hurts doesn't throw that pick six, this is 31-10 going away at home. So not only can they not win big games, they have Chase Claypool, who seems like he's a curse, he's a cancer on any franchise he goes to, where the Bears didn't win a game with him on the team, and now they're 2-1 without him. The Dolphins are 0-1 with him active on that team. I believe the Steelers' record is much better without him too. And then you have midseason Hard Knocks to top it off.
Yeah, I think this is a team that their offense is kind of, I don't want to say gimmicky, but you have a lot of speed. But I feel like if you can contain one of those two big receivers, being Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, or really just force them to play like check down football, they can be exposed. And I love Tua Tagovailoa. I think he gets a lot of hate, but I also think he's in the same class as Brock Purdy, where there's a lot of offense around him. There's a lot of firepower. He has a great head coach next to him. But I also think when it comes time to pay him, you really got to look at him, not only because of his injury history, but also because how much, I mean, could someone else step into this offense, whether it be like a Kirk Cousins or maybe, somebody else that's lurking in free agency and filling him in? Could they do a similar production that Tua does? Tua doesn't throw the greatest deep ball. He doesn't have a great arm strength. He's an accurate passer. I give him credit there, and I like him a lot. But I think him and Brock Purdy are kind of in a similar conversation there. And I think that he's a easier quarterback to game plan for than some of these elite quarterbacks that are getting those big money contracts.
Yeah, and I think the Dolphins will be improved when